in order for us to gatekeep our present anime,
Yep.
we should have to know how to gatekeep past anime.
Absolutely.
So welcome to Between Nerds. I'm Aldo Mendez. This is Drillius. And this is episode 132?
132 Between Nerds podcast. This is the first episode of our sports-themed March Madness month.
Hell yeah.
Welcome here. Thanks to everybody that participated in Feelings February. It was the most successful Feelings February as of yet.
I believe so. Even though we had a dud of an anime, but...
honestly, well...
the conversation was good. It was just our week that wasn't that great.
Right, absolutely. So, only one of four wasn't bad. And then I think we're starting off to a good start on March Madness.
Hey, I brought up the in my youth, in my Mexican youth as a Mexican little boy.
You're Mexican?
I'm Mexican.
What?
I'm Mexican, yeah. And I had watched this soccer anime, because growing up here in El Paso, and I'm sure you saw it too, once, you came back from Germany and stuff. But soccer is a fever.
Oh yeah, man! Everyone loves
fever.
soccer. Americans are just the weird ones.
Yeah, and just watching that, I never got the soccer bug in me. You know what I was never like, Chivas, America, whatever, Mexican soccer team. But a lot of people did, and I know a lot of people from my youth, a lot of friends from my youth, they love Captain Tsubasa, which is what we're talking about today.
Yep, but we're not watching the original one that you watched, right?
Correct.
We're talking about the 2018 David production Captain Tsubasa season 1, episodes 1 through 28.
Correct.
On Amazon Prime for some reason.
Yes.
Super random.
Honestly, I'm glad that we watched the 2018 one, because don't get me wrong, it is well animated by David Productions, and again, off mic, I told you, I no wonder why they picked it up. Right?
David Production, better known for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah. So this is the 4th, 5th time we've talked about David Production.
Correct. And then now, seeing something like this again, and I'm glad my nostalgia glasses were not super on, because I had a lot of fun watching this anime.
No, I did too. I'd watched half of it going into last week, and I didn't want to spoil my feelings to you about how I was feeling about it. It's just it's like I miss watching a sports anime. And maybe it wasn't just Captain Tsubasa in general. I had a good time, but whenever we talked about haiku or something like that, it's cool learning the sport, but through the eccentricities that is anime. It's so over the top just because it's anime, right?
Yeah, the anime scope.
Yeah, so people are doing things that they don't normally do, but when they're explaining soccer formations, when they're explaining what certain positions are trying to do, when they're explaining tackling, when they're explaining how the foul system works. Honestly, and I think it's funny because the World Cup happened this year, it made me hate refs all over again.
Hey, and there's an episode that they really called out the refs. They're like, oh, what the hell, ref? You know what I'm saying? And that's worldwide. Everybody soccer player loves to hate refs.
Well, honestly, it doesn't even make any... it's weird how much it's a sport based off how the ref is just kind of feeling that day. Yeah. And I think that's super, super weird. Don't get me wrong. I watch a bunch of NFL, or I have the past, few seasons, but, there's a point in this first season of Captain Tsubasa, I'm just wow, this anime would be so much better if this ref just wasn't on the field. And anyways, besides all that, so we kind of spoiled this about soccer. What is Captain Tsubasa?
Captain Tsubasa, I feel is the most not shonen-y, but it is the
it's pretty shonen-y.
Dude, well, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's super shonen-y, but what I'm trying to say, the feels of the friends that come along the way, the journey of the protagonist to come, because we only watch the middle school arc,
the elementary school
elementary arc.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
we watched a 4th grader just hang out and be 4th graders,
having crazy stadium games of multiple people,
which is insane. I get it. They were trying to sell it's a national tournament, but it was a ginormous stadium, and that it looks sold out.
Yeah,
I don't believe that for an elementary school age tournament. There's no way. And they're treating it like the Olympics or something.
Yeah.
Which I get it. Other countries like soccer, but not that much. Who's calling out of work to be oh, we gotta go see the 4th graders play soccer. Let's go.
Yeah. And but it is amazing, dude. It made me feel so... I don't know. It made me feel like a little kid again. Because I'm watching this little kid in probably every other 5 episodes come to meet a new a new person who is this like opposing energy to him.
Yeah.
But like they befriend them. You know what I'm saying? And they get to play together, and that's how it's gonna be like the entire time until like the teams get really really good.
I think it's kind of weird. Well, at least in this season, and maybe it's a reach. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. The villains always are like more like Morenito than like Tsubasa and his friends are.
I can see that with Kajiro, but Kajiro was the only one.
When they first introduce the evil goalie
Genzo?
Yeah, when they first introduced Genzo, he's animated kind of darker, and like he's got a hat, and he's evil and bullying people out of the soccer club. And then like the next couple of rivals are like a little darker than like our protagonists, and like it might be a reach. Like, please don't cancel me about that. Like, I'm not trying to turn into a race thing, but like it's just something that like I just kept thinking about.
Then again, I mean, the manga started in 81, you were telling me?
81 in Japan. Japan is currently racist
racist.
AF.
Yeah.
Like in 1981, I would assume they were probably more racist.
I don't know, man. First time watching it, I just started, like, my brain was just making connections with, like, the memories of, like, what I have of this anime.
Yeah.
And just having little Tsubasa almost getting an isekai at the beginning of the episode.
Oh yeah, Truck-kun almost made an appearance.
Yeah,
for real.
It made you. It made me like, wow, they really just troped the first episode.
Oh, and something I wanted to bring up before I forget: the English dub, which is on like the Roku channel app thing, is maybe the worst dub I've seen since like the 90s. Like, it's absolutely dog shit. Like, it's like Speed Racer 1980s level dubbing, and I can't believe in 2018 they were really dubbing something like they must have spent like $5 doing voice dubbing for each episode.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear.
I'm glad, man. It was bad, like bad. Like the lips would move, and then they'd be like, "Oh, Tsubasa-san."
Oh no, that sucks.
No.
The sound production, by the way, on David did an amazing job doing this.
Whoever the fuck David is, shout out.
Yeah, Dave Productions.
Yeah.
And just him like playing with a ball, and at first I was like, oh, this is super kiddish.
Yeah.
Like, he's talking to the ball. The ball is his best friend, and he still has the same ball that saved his life when he was a baby, because the truck that was gonna hit him, he picked it up as a little baby and like boinked him out of like the street.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And like he flies, like he does like a flying. That was his first like flying kick that he does almost.
Oh, here's an interesting stat. The company's name for David Production is a reference to the biblical story David and Goliath, a story chosen to represent the creation of good animation with great storytelling and characters.
There you go.
That's a weird one. Anyways, you were saying, sorry.
No, I was just trying to put the nerds like into what sauces they're coming into, you know?
Well, honestly, at first I thought I was gonna hate it, to be honest. Like 2-3 episodes in, like,
I also thought you were gonna hate it.
It's a shonen written in the 80s about a 10-year-old. So like I was really, really, really turned off for like a little bit, especially because like it's 80s shonen writing where he's just like this uppity good guy who's just the best person ever. I'm just like, oh, I thought like media moved past this. Like, oh, I can't handle this right now. But the more you get into it and you get into the soccer games, you see like the JoJo-isms of it. Like maybe like the first quarter is like, it's just kids in elementary school, and that was like the least interesting part for it. But then it's like the most interesting battle shonens are the battle shonen seasons that have tournament arcs, right? It just turns into a tournament arc, and then which is cool, which is awesome. And like talking about David Production, it's literally JoJo's, dude. Like the weird animation styles, that the eccentricities of like just flashes of light moving by, and they keep reanimating the same bicycle kick.
Yeah,
but like every time he does it, I'm like lit.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, here it comes
bicycle kick.
I don't know if you guys are familiar. You must be. Some nerds must be familiar with Mario Strikers. You recently got Mario Strikers. It's like Mario Strikers all the fucking time.
Oh yeah,
Once we get into the tournament,
I've never seen so many people do that many like backflips into a goal.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that's not how soccer's played, but whatever. They're kids, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so then little Tsubasa, because Captain Tsubasa, it's also the name of his father because he's an actual like captain of a vessel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, great parents, great dads all around this anime. You know what I'm saying?
Can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic. Like the dad, you think he's gonna be off seas every the time. He shows up the first game with nobody. Nobody telling him. Not the mom being like, "Hey, your son needs you. Wants you here." Nobody. Mm-hmm. He shows up. Even the bad dad, who's Genso's dad, who trains him to death and keeps him like.
Captain Tsubasa even let his wife have a boyfriend.
Yeah,
which is super strange.
Yeah, he got Mr. Mind.
It was weird. It like. I'm reaching, right? So there's just like this Brazilian soccer coach that lives with like little Tsubasa and his mom, and that's like where he really starts learning soccer because he's always talented. But and like he's always just this soccer nerd, just like dribbling this ball around him wherever he goes. Like this is really like I knew people like that with basketballs, right? Just always had this basketball around them, just dribbling around, just walking to and from school. That's Tsubasa with like a soccer ball, right? And then one day, this drunk brown man just kind of like stumbles into the soccer field.
Yeah, so there's this. So we meet Genzo, our first like opposing like force here against Tsubasa, who is like the captain of a team who is. Taking over a field, like a public field, where like other sports are trying to practice at. And Genso's like, "What are you talking about? You bunch of losers! Like, don't you guys know that we're like the last year champions? It's like we need to practice, like some bench warmer shit. Have you remember bench warmers?
It's been like 20 years, dude.
But it's almost the same vibes. It's almost the same vibes. Like the bullies get the control of the field, and then we see because Tsubasa's new in town, he's trying to find the closest field to his place.
He
so
just wants to
can,
play, man.
Yeah, so he can shoot some goals. And now we find like that whole confrontation with Genzo, right? Genzo.
Yeah.
And he challenges like all these sports kids.
Yeah,
like this rugby guy.
Genzo does. He's just like, hey, rugby, baseball pitcher. I can't even remember. There was like a volleyball player, a javelin thrower,
a tennis guy, a golf guy.
Nothing's coming into this net. Nothing's making it into this net,
and nothing does. And that's when Tsubasa is like, "Oh my god, that's my guy who I need to be to get better."
Right.
You know, like the whole Goku thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's Goku. Goku. Tsubasa's Goku.
And then because Tsubasa missed the opportunity to actually take a shot at the goalie once all these kids were like just throwing all their like sports equipment at him.
Like he caught a javelin or something.
Yeah, no, he kicked it out of the way or something.
Did he kick it? I don't even remember.
And then he's like, "Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to this hill across town. I'm gonna kick my ball with a message on it." And I'm gonna land it on his like super compound that he has a soccer field in. Because he's a rich kid too.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna challenge him to a goalie versus striker off.
And then we see young Tsubasa just like boom kicking this ball across town, and then we see the ball like getting closer to Genso. Genso's like, "Is that a soccer ball?" And then he catches it, and it's like the whole anime thing of him catching it. He's like, "Whoa, this had a lot of energy from coming from so far away."
And it's just like this hill way over there.
Yeah.
And Genzo's coach is like, "There's no way it came from that hill." He's like, "Coach, I'm telling you, like this came from that hill."
And that's when we see drunk Roberto being like, "Where the fuck is that ball coming from? I'm gonna stumble over here."
Honestly, there were a lot of drunks in this one. A lot of drunk has-beens, drunk coaches.
I was telling you that a lot of characters, like from here on, there's a lot of characters that are based on like real soccer players.
Yeah,
this soccer player was a Brazilian soccer player that, just like a lot of them, like a lot of soccer players have like this act of like getting drunk.
Especially in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just because, like, I'm more familiar with the NFL. Like, a bunch of, like, old NFL players, like, are just like, yeah, dude, like, I was chugging, like, half a bottle, but, like, during halftime and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's also, like, brain damage shit, too.
Oh, yeah. Anything to quiet the voices.
Yeah. And, so, yeah, we meet Roberto. Roberto goes to Genzo's
Can I
house.
say something I have an issue with, though? maybe it's just because I'm more used to modern anime where like even comparing it to last week, talking about quintessential quintuplets, we're in the narrative. They're identical sisters. They look exactly the same. Their hair colors are not different. But for the audience's sake, like they animate them like slightly different color variations. And that's why, like, in anime, they'll animate, like, people with, like, pink and blues and red hairs. But, like, they'll never mention it. Like, it's just, like, part of it. But that's to differentiate the characters for the audience. This doesn't do anything. It's all realistic-ish character design. Okay, cool. I get it. But maybe it's just the mangaka's, like, writing style or not enough of the characters look different to me.
I just don't think that it was, like, a common practice back then. I think it was something that they slipped on, and then like along the way of like the anime genre, like people were started like, you know what, it should be good practice to be able to differentiate this character.
That makes sense to me. My thing is it's just like hard for me to keep up. I'm like, which bright-faced kid with brown hair is that? Is that Tsubasa? Is that the other one?
And then we're also talking soccer team, so it's 11.
Right. Even if they're on the same team and they're wearing the same uniform, I'm like, I really have no idea who I'm looking at right now. Not really.
No, you don't. And I can see that. Why would that be an issue? But like, if you're really like just surface level, like seeing it is like you only care about Tsubasa and probably like the goalies.
Yeah. So you're gonna care about like Genzo, Tsubasa, the kid with the shaved head, Ishizaki, and that's basically it. Like, and then his boyfriend in elementary school, Toro. There you go.
Yeah. And like I said, in this. It is gonna be like that along the way because from what I remember, I watched them all the way to college.
Yeah. David Production never went that far. They only finished like in the middle school arc, and that kind of sucks.
You know what? It might have been just budget thing, bro.
That probably means it wasn't like it either wasn't getting enough traction or they stopped in 2019, expect to pick it up in like a year or two, and then COVID happened. So that might be part of it too, because I think that's one of their explanations for why like Stone Ocean is animated like just a slideshow with moving lips, kind of. But you know what I mean? It was a weird time. I get it. It's and like I'm not trying to pick on it. Like I thought Captain Tsubasa 2018 was a super fun watch. Don't get me wrong. It's just like there's like it's a faithful adaptation of the original to a fault a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It does, and that's why I was nervous of watching that 84 one, man, because I know we don't like this.
It's also just like not available anywhere except for YouTube at like 180p.
It would be horrible. It would have been.
I can't even imagine watching that. Yeah. I can't. You physically like can't sit there and watch that.
Absolutely. But what I was gonna say, the sound production too. The sound production on Wind.
They stole the sound production from JoJo's and it makes it better.
Yeah, and the sprinting, the there's not a lot of breathing, but they do put that in there when they have to show somebody being tired or whatnot. But like the sprinting, that even like the small like bumps, like it sounds like boof, boof. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's funny that like a lot of the sounds that they use for the kicks or like the sound of like the ball hitting somebody's foot are the same sounds that the punches in JoJo's use. And I thought that was super apt. Like every time you'd hear, like I don't even know how they produce that sound.
It's because I know exactly what song you're talking about. Like the second right after like Sawardo, and it's like
yeah, and you're just like. It sounds like they're hitting like a
sound barrier kind of thing,
like a leather couch cushion in front of a mic, but like a few feet away. I don't know. I can't even describe it. But yeah, the sound direction's amazing. It's super, super, super cool.
Well, and we can talk about JoJo's like the entire time, and this is what it is. It's super fun.
It's soccer JoJo's.
Yeah, but anything that'll jump out more to you?
I feel like a lot of the narrative is kind of a blur. Number one, because it was super hard for me to keep the characters in place in my head. Besides Tsubasa, I'm just like, where the fuck is Tsubasa? Every time, like he's not on screen. And besides that, like the first half is just leading up to the second half, and the second half is just the national championship tournament things. So like he enters this new elementary school out in the boonies. There's 2 elementary schools, so then like they've got rivals at the other elementary school because Genzo's on that other team or whatever. And then they finally beat Genzo's team or whatever, but that becomes the running narrative. It's the Goku thing. It's like, I beat you, now we're friends, like fuck off, stop being a dickhead now.
Yeah.
So that happens like 3-4 times, something like that, which is fine. Like I'm totally fine with that kind of story progression.
But then it also makes sense. It makes it make more sense because of like the school dynamic, which I'm not really fond of a lot. But like here, at first we see Genzo and Tsubasa, and then like we have like the early middle school tournament that leads us to the main national tournament, elementary school, and then so in between that, it's like, oh well, yeah, you guys were the best players of this. Now you guys are part of the same team for this tournament, and like it just makes sense for them to be like, wow, now I'm playing with Tsubasa, or Tsubasa being, oh, now I'm playing with Genzo.
And like it makes me feel bad because there's like characters that are in every single episode, and I have no idea what their names are. There's some kid with like a scar on his chin or something. There's like the kid with the shaved head. And I have no idea what any of their significance is because like there's like this mini training arc where Roberto just kind of like invites them all in the soccer field before they go to school
for the one training montage for the flying kick.
Yeah, the one because like Captain Tsubasa being a prodigy, like it's neat because like every time he sees like a trick play, you know he's gonna be doing it.
Yeah.
And the first one Roberto teaches him is like he hits a ball off of like the T-bar, it bounces up, and then like he jumps up and like hits it in.
Correct.
And the first time he does that is against Genzo, and he gets a goal on Genzo, and that's like one of the first goals he gets on Genzo. But then after that, like it's just like this backflip into the goal every other time.
Yeah, well, it just looks super cool.
It's because they do reuse the same animation.
They do,
but it's like Digimon or something. Like, you know, once you see it, it's like, oh, he's gonna do it. Like his foot glows yellow, it's bright golden, and then he's like a falcon or something. I don't know what the bird is. There's like this brown bird of prey that's like every time he does it,
has to mean something like that.
It has to mean
something like that. And then I like that once we are in the national tournament, and again, this is 80s anime. We are probably talking on the second half of this anime.
A gender neutral term that means wing.
Wing. There you go.
Wing. Tsubasa. He's got wings. He can fly.
Does
he break his ACL?
I don't know. Everybody breaks their shit in this fucking anime.
Everyone gets hurt.
That's what I was just gonna talk about, because not only does Genzo like hurts his tibia or something, that he gets One Punch Man like the first like 3 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And now everybody's like, holy shit, what are we gonna do without Genzo? He's our goalie. Now we have to play a lot of defense, and then they write that into like really good, because now the game is about like the defense all the time.
That's how you know he really got hurt. Like, it's hard to hurt an elementary school kid. You know what I mean? Like they're like rubber.
Yeah,
you can't hurt an elementary school age kid.
Yeah. And then again, once they start playing against the what is it, Kajiro?
Yeah.
Kajiro's team. Kajiro's a dick because he's hurting people left and right, and he tells his team to be like, nah, it's not about defense, it's about walking through your fucking opponent.
He plays through intense, and that's another thing too, and that reminded me, like, again, like watching an NFL game, like, bro, they are tackling people, they are going after people's ankles and people's knees, and the ref's just like, play on, and I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, there's some kid bleeding on the field, just got cleats to his shin, and they're playing on? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that kid, there's a 4th grader in Kajiro's team that does feel really bad about it, because he was going for the ball, but like Toru moved the ball out of the way and hit his leg. Yeah. And just like the injuries give a risk factor to the anime, which I liked.
I feel like the tertiary, the third removed cast didn't get like enough screen time. So there's like this girl that, like, I'm assuming later on, if it goes on till college, like, is probably going to be his love interest, right? She's like captain of like the cheerleading team, but like their Japanese cheerleading in the 80s, I guess, is different than like what we think of as cheerleading.
Yeah, it's not a cowboy. The cowboy was fucking cheerleading.
Yeah, they're not out here in skirts and stuff. Like they literally have like a flag and they're just chanting things with random people. Tsubasa, Tsubasa, Tsubasa.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the other cheer teams too. They also like show all the other school teams.
Well,
like
you see that in
guys.
haiku too, though.
Oh yeah, you do.
You see that in haiku. So like it's just a thing of Japanese culture, I guess. But like my thing is her and her little cheerleading friend group, like they get a lot of screen time but no development. No. Which like if you're going to do one, the other one needs to go with it. Like I'm not opposed to there being non-soccer player based characters in the soccer anime, but they're just kind of there and like we're just told they exist and they just eat up screen time. Yeah. Which like 28 episodes one season isn't like the most we've watched for a single season of something, but at the same time it's like for what? Like for like and there's a like they hitchhike to all the soccer games for the national tournament with all these truckers, and I'm just like, I get that the 80s were different and Japanese culture is a lot more trusting, but like what parent is really just letting their kid miss school every day to go jump in some random trucker's truck and like go down to the elementary school soccer tournament in Tokyo? It's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing, right? Like I thought I was hallucinating. And then like there's this like Roberto arc that happens really, really quickly in the first half. Like all of a sudden, like episode 8, 9 happens, and we learn that like his retina is gonna detach. Roberto, the drunk, and Tsubasa's basically brought him back from the brink, and he no longer wants to be a drunk anymore. And he wants to train this kid who's a full blown prodigy. He's like, that could have been me. That could have been me. And he starts living with him and his mom, and the dad's out at sea all day, which is already a weird dynamic. And the mom's just going through Roberto's room and going through his doctor's notes and stuff like that. Like, oh my God, Roberto, your
eyes are falling out.
Your eyes are gonna detach. What's going on? It's like, yes, this is why I can't play soccer anymore. And then they just forget about it for 20 episodes. And then he just does good dad, worst dad thing and goes out to milk for forever back to Brazil.
Yes.
Like, it's like they forgot, or I don't know if the manga's like that. I don't know if the original like anime production had that sense.
I think the original's like that too.
Really? Okay, so then I've got beef with the manga, like...
Because if I'm not mistaken, dude, I hope I'm not, I believe that after college, they do go pro.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they do remake with Roberto, but he's blind already.
Oh, don't say that. Oh,
because it's been 3 years. At the end of this anime, we have a time skip of 3 years.
Oh, that's a terrible story.
Yeah.
I hated all of that. Yeah. Wow, I didn't want to know that.
Yeah.
Wow, spoilers.
That's why that he wears his little blind man's glasses at the end.
Oh,
I think next time we see him, he's gonna be blind.
Oh, I didn't know that. That sucks.
Yeah.
And he's Brazilian.
And an alcoholic.
Yeah. Who knows if he kept not drinking? But like, it's just got like a lot of 80s isms.
Well, yeah, it is an 80s anime, bro.
Like the idea of just like
slapping women.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up too, because like there's this kid that they play in the semifinals where Tsubasa went to one of his original elementary schools, was with this guy's girlfriend. Okay, whatever. They're friends, they're friendly, and he's also a prodigy. But he's like Tsubasa's like physically gifted. He's like smarter. Like he can see the play before it happens. Who? The kid with the heart problem. What's his name?
Oh yeah.
He can see the play before it happens. He's good at stealing because of that. Like he can read people before it happens, kind of thing.
Toro.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And then his girlfriend is like childhood friends with Tsubasa, even though Tsubasa moved out into the boonies. Okay. And then before the semifinals, she's like, hey, Tsubasa, can you kind of let my boyfriend win? Because he's got a heart problem, might never be able to play again. And then Tsubasa's like cheerleading girlfriend sees them from afar, gets jealous, and then us as an audience see that like that's not really what it is. And it made me upset. Like I like Tsubasa's answer because he's like, no, I'm gonna stop you right there. I get we're friends, but like no one's convincing me to give up on my dream.
Correct. Yeah. He's almost Bakugo that way.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
He's like, come on, turn villain. It's like, fuck you, man. I'm not gonna turn into a villain.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of like you were talking about, like Tsubasa being like the best person ever. Like, there's a lot of moments that they give Tsubasa to be like the best person. And he kind of gets like, okay, we get it.
It's obnoxious a little bit.
He's adorable. We get it.
Yeah. But the slapping that you're talking about, what's his name? Toro?
No, it's not Toro. Is that you were talking about the girl's boyfriend, right?
Right. The guy with the heart problem. Is that Misugi? Jun Misugi?
I think so.
He, like, they play that game, and he figures out that Tsubasa's, like, not playing at 110%, and he wants to play against the good Tsubasa. He wants to play against the prodigy. And so he figures, like, that his girl told Tsubasa something, and he just open-handed slaps her across the face in a public hallway in front of everybody. He's like, how dare you share my personal information with my enemy like that? And then she just stays with him. Like, there's no question. They're like 10. Again, this isn't like an adult conversation they're happening. They're like 10, and he's already just like hitting her. He's never gonna change at that point, right?
Yeah.
This is like he's in the hospital room because of his heart condition, and she's just right there with him, just trucking it out. Like I guarantee you, with his heart condition, he couldn't go pro, and he probably became cop. But just saying. And I hated that. I hated that so much. Like, there's just, like, things about, like, culture that, like, we just don't, like, endorse anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to endorse these drunks around children. We're not going to endorse, like, somebody slapping his girl.
Well, like I was saying earlier, Genso's dad, too. Genso gets a slap, too, by his dad. Because he gets a...
Was his coach his dad?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Because he called him coach. I never heard him call him dad.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't even know.
So then he... before that national tournament in the first half of the anime, when in the previous tournament before the national one, he gets a goal scored by Tsubasa, and he just gives up on the team. He's just like, no, you guys don't need me. You guys don't deserve me. I'm walking out. Like, as he's walking into the tunnel, like, the dad, like, intercepts him, and he's like, douche.
In front of everybody. Like, both teams, every set of parents. Like, you can't be hitting your kids in public like that. No, like, it's a game, bro. You can't be hitting your kids in public like that. And what's funny, though, is that they do kind of retcon it, though. Like, it's the original's supposed to be in the 80s, but, like, there's kids with cell phones in this one. There's, like, newer looking laptops. There's tablets.
Flat screen TVs.
Yeah, it's retconned a little bit. A little bit. It's modernized a little bit, but, like, tastefully so. Like, little things you don't think about.
Yeah, and then when I was talking about, like, the injuries, some of the injuries that go on just because of Kajiro's team.
There's people playing with, like, just torn ACLs, just limping around the field.
And I love the progression, the animation. Everybody starts getting raggedy and tired and, like, untucked shirts.
Well, an interesting part that I didn't think about, though, is that, like, again, like, I'm learning about soccer while watching this stupid soccer anime. Like, is that, like, he's the kind of guy, this season's finale-esque villain that, like, he will try to intimidate people. So he'll shoot the goal at your face, at your stomach, so that you're afraid of the ball and you don't play defense against him. And I'm like, oh, because technically it's not a foul. He's giving you the ball.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not a foul. He's giving you the ball. Like, play better defense.
Anime power ball.
Yeah, but still, like, a ball, like a full-blown kick from an athlete, like, and that ball is going to your face, like, and that's one of the things they use against the goalie the first time they played. They played twice in, like, the big national elementary school tournament. And I thought that was really interesting. I did, because Genzo's got, like, a torn ACL or whatever. He's gone most of the tournament. And that was another thing. Like, Genzo goes from being the worst, the biggest villain for, like, half the season, and then he's on the same team as Tsubasa for the second half of the season, but he's injured, so you don't even see him until, like, the last 3-4 episodes. So I'm like, I guess that's fine, but the issue I took with it was, all the kids are just like, oh man, we're gonna lose Genzo when he moves to Germany. Man, we're gonna miss Genzo. Dude, you hung out with him like twice, and you really think you're gonna miss Genzo like that?
And let me bring up the birdcage. Remember the birdcage episode? I thought that was really good. Was that with Genzo on the opposite team?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole birdcage. So again, when we're talking about learning soccer, they're talking about the birdcage technique, which they just keep passing ball while winning to lose time so they can win the game.
Right.
And nobody can get to the ball. And then we see the baldy guy, Ishikai. Give me 1 second. The bald friend,
Ishizaki.
He's just like trying to get the ball, and he sacrifices himself. He sacrifices his foot to like get the ball off and give it back to Tsubasa, and able to be able to break that birdcage. I just thought like the whole metaphor of it, and like seeing the cages actually up, like if it was a JoJo's 10, I thought that was really great.
It reminded me of, there's a One Piece power like that. So like the guy that has the string fruit, which is like a lot more broken than it sounds. Like
everything's broken.
His ultimate technique is birdcage. So like he can, like, One Piece is on islands, right? So if you make a birdcage out of like impenetrable hockey reinforced strings, and it's just slowly crushing everybody. So every building, every person, every tree, every livestock is just being crushed to the center of this island, and it's just Luffy in the center. He's got to knock this dude out to turn off the power, or else everyone's just going to get crushed and die. It's what made me think of it. I know it's not related at all, besides like the name, but that's what I thought about.
Well, Tsubasa uses like intimidation hockey at the end, you know, with the fourth grader. The fourth grader like sees him running because 2 people just died at the other end of the field. The goalie, Toro, and like everybody's just on the floor, like
just
out.
Conquers hockey, looks at him, just like, back up, dude.
Yeah, back up. He's like, oh shit, he looked like Kajiro. Holy fuck! I was like, oh, that's cool.
But see, I hated Ishizaki because like he's Tsubasa's new best friend for like half the season, and then he enters the tournament. He's basically benched the whole time, and he's kind of like the audience's like he explains the game to the audience. He'll be like, "Oh no, Tsubasa's hurt because on this play, blah 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 blah. Oh no, he couldn't catch the ball because on that play he aimed for the corner, and the corner is the hardest part for the goalie to get." Stuff like that, right? But then the one time they put him back in because somebody got injured, he almost immediately scores on his own goal.
Yeah.
On his own goal. So he puts his own team down by like 2. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, that's a super obnoxious way to be introducing like the second the character with like the second most amount of screen time in the whole anime.
It's happened in soccer, and again, I feel like they use most of like the soccer and like things to make like super exaggerated episode plots with it. You know?
Right.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching it. What else?
It sounds like I'm complaining, but like not at all. Like it's super fun to watch because like you're just like, because it's not like a TV broadcast. Like I don't see the whole field, right? Like I just see who the camera is focused on that second, and it's who has the ball. Like I don't know where everyone is on the field, and all of a sudden, oh my god, Tsubasa stole the ball. Oh my god, Tsubasa stole the ball. Or what's his name? Kajiro. I almost said Kendo. Kajiro or whatever, and it's super exciting because we as the audience don't know what's going to happen. And I think an interesting narrative point is that like even the episodes before the tournament when they're just playing, there's a narrator that is narrating as if there's a real sports announcer there for the audience.
Yeah, the commentary makes it seem way cooler.
Yeah, it seems way more intense. It's like you're watching an actual soccer match.
Because I forgot at one point that I was watching elementary.
Yeah, you keep saying middle schoolers. Yeah.
Yeah, elementary kids. Because I'm watching, I'm like, wow, like the big stadium, the full crowd.
Yep.
Like, it's just super intense. And then again, the commentator's just like, only 2 minutes with a match on extra time.
That's what I didn't like either. They're playing like 20-minute games in the tournament.
Was that Sid?
Well, you see the timer. You see that, so then 10 minutes will pass and be like, boop, 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 that's halftime, everybody. 10 more minutes to go. And then when they do the first overtime in the finals, it's 5 minutes each time, which again is like 2-3 episodes like each half, even though it's supposed to be 5 minutes, and then they give another overtime because they want somebody to actually win the game, and it's supposed to be like 1 minute each, but it's like a whole episode each minute.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna go to shootout.
That's what I thought too. And then they said that for this tournament, like
there's no shootout.
There's no shootouts.
And then again, I didn't notice the whole 20-minute thing because I was like thinking just soccer 90 minutes. I was just going through the episodes, But I mean, they do that with college basketball. They shorten the time.
Yeah, college basketball games are hella short.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered why. I never
24 clock shoot thing. They raise it too, right?
The 3-point line shorter, smaller. I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways, what else? There's a bunch of cool like cast of villains throughout the tournament. So like there's like one interesting opposing player, at least one interesting opposing player like every round of the tournament. So they play these twins the first time they see them. They're passing the ball like across like train tracks and like, ooh, that's super cool. And like that team's entire offense runs through these twins, so they just have like 9 other guys on defense. But then it takes like Tsubasa's team all of 3 episodes to be like, dude, like if we just stop the twins, then they don't play. They don't have an offense.
We have to separate them.
Yeah, if we just put 2 guys on each twin, then they can't play. That's it.
And like you said, like Tsubasa's power scaling, it's like Goku's. You get beat by one dude, you become stronger, and then you beat him again.
And then he steals his passing techniques.
Yeah, the passing techniques. He uses the same trick shot where there's like this couple episodes where people are climbing on the poles of the goalie.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how that's legal.
I don't know. Yeah, they're doing flips off of the goalpost, and I'm just like, I don't understand how that's legal.
Yeah. Again, it's anime, but it just looks crazy as hell.
There's a goalie whose power is just to be big and fat. Like,
that goal is fucking cool.
It's cool. Yeah. It's cool because like by the time they pass through the knockout stage and they're in the actual like bracket stage, the first team they play is like the best player in the team is just their goalie, and he's just big. He's just some fat guy, and like it's hard to get around him.
Mm-hmm. Like if LeBron James was goalie.
It's like if an NFL lineman was a goalie or something. It's like if a sumo wrestler was a goalie. Yeah. That's like kind of how they animate him. But then like they're all in the crowd like cheering on Tsubasa after every round. So by the end when they're playing Kojiro or whatever his name is, like there's just like 10 people that I saw for 2 episodes each in the crowd. I'm just like, everyone respects Tsubasa. And again, it's kind of like Dragon Ball like that.
Yeah. I just thought that when I brought this to you that it would be a great, I guess, stepping stone to the future of like sports anime.
No, I think it is. Because like you want to talk about like the history of like anime and like anime history. Captain Tsubasa is kind of up there. I'm guessing. My understanding
with
of what
sports,
I've seen.
I think it is because I'm telling you, it was a what would you call it? It was a pillar of like the animes that me as a Mexican kid watched, and I know all these people too watched it.
You're Mexican?
Yeah. And then, and if you ask any of your like, if you were to go back in time and ask every Mexican kid you know, it's like, oh, have you heard of Super Campeones? That was what the name of Captain Tsubasa was. They'll be like, yeah, I know that shit.
Oh, and something weird about like, not weird, but something interesting about the big bad villain of the season, Kojiro, is that like his mom is like working 2-3 jobs and like supporting 4 kids because like their dad died.
Yeah.
And so like he's like packing groceries and packing trucks and stuff, like trying to get some money on the side. He's like 10, dude. Like, were there not labor laws in Japan in the 80s?
Yeah, they do not truly let you fully hate like the antagonist.
No. Yeah. He's got empathy for him. So like after the first time they play in the first round,
some scouters come by.
Right, a private like school, like a real private athlete school, like a prep school.
Yeah.
They recruit him, they scout him out, and like they're gonna scout Tsubasa, and like I thought by the end of the season he was gonna go into that same school, but he just kind of doesn't. He just wants to stay with this elementary school team, which is like lame.
Yeah,
that's super lame.
Like GG.
Like if that was your kid, I'm like, Well, when I get old and I'm on hospice care, I want you to be making money to take care of me. You're going to go to the cool school.
Yeah.
Where I know you can be successful. So that's what would actually happen in that scenario.
Yeah.
I guess Captain Tsubasa is absent.
And then Toro's kind of backstory, kind of like, I didn't really like the whole like, oh, I'm a country boy and my country dad is coming, and it was really nice and everything, but it was just like bromancing the entire thing for Tsubasa.
Because his dad's a painter, so he just moves to different parts of Japan, paints scenery a la Bob Barker, and just like after painting 2-3 times, just moves his son. Honestly,
That's not healthy.
I don't think you're allowed to move your kid to that like schools that many times. I know at least like in the El Paso area, you're not allowed to change schools that many times. Like I guess like the idea is he's moving whole ass cities and the whole ass like what we would think of as states. So like he has to, but like that's not fair to the kid. Like that hurts him developmentally.
Yeah, but then again, the kid has like this. It's like, you promised me that you will keep painting, and I promise you that I will keep playing, and and it's just it's cool, it's cute, but it's just there for plot development. It's just there for character development almost.
Right, it's backstory, but like it's never like built
Flushed
on.
out.
Yeah, it's not really flushed out all that much. It's cool. It's whatever. It's I think it's interesting because like we talk about this, and then in 2 weeks we're going to talk about Haiku, and Haiku like takes like I see where Haiku gets its writing. Like after watching Captain Tsubasa, like I see the inspiration, I see where it comes from, but like Haiku has like this more like
modern take on it.
Yeah, it's a super modern take. Like people have real limitations. Not everyone's all happy go lucky. Like they're running plays. You know what I mean? Like. There are actual plays to be played in soccer, and it's cool where like sometimes they'll tell you the actual play and they'll animate like like they do on TV. They'll show you where the play's happening. They'll circle, they'll show arrows, and they'll be like, okay, the pass was here, and here, like you're watching an NFL game or something like that. But that doesn't happen like often enough as much as I'd like.
Yeah, because like I think what you're saying is like those plays that is like. It's Tsubasa running to the goal, kicks it, but he's actually crossing it.
Yeah, it's an angled cross kick, and then his friend's over there.
And then the other guy just like heads it in, and it looks nice because it's just automatic goal. It's just like, doom, doom, into the net, and it looks great. But then probably like 75% of all the goals is just Tsubasa like, whoosh, like
just eagle kicking it in.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is fine. Again, it's animated great. Yeah. Again, like not complaining. But it gets me excited for the rest of this month.
Fuck it. I like it. I really enjoyed watching it. As I was watching, I was just like, oh my god. Like,
it's a breeze because like earlier in the week, like I still need to watch like 14, 15 episodes, something like that, because this is a long season, 28 episodes, and like I was dreading it. I remembered when I watched the first half, I liked it, I really did, but then like coming into this week, I didn't want to watch it. But then, like, the second you sit down and you watch, like, one episode, then you just accidentally sit down and watch 7 episodes.
And by the way, their runtimes are 25 minutes with a really long intro and a really long outro.
Yeah, like, there's a recap, there's a song, there's a full song at the end. And the ending song's, like, a whole ass of Mega Man theme. Like, literally, like a PS1 Mega Man X. Yeah. I'm just like, I've heard this song before.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, a lot of like super like 8-pixel sounding stuff.
PS1. There were 16 pixels.
16 pixels. 8-bit. I mean, not 8-pixel. 8-bit.
Oh,
8-bit sounds.
okay.
Cool stuff, nerds. Captain Tsubasa Soccer. We watched this on my request. On the fact that the World Cup just has passed by.
Yep.
Hopefully next year we get to watch Blue Lock.
Yep.
You know?
It should be done. It should be, well, we probably would have watched Captain Tsubasa and maybe Blue Lock this March Madness, but Blue Lock's still not done.
There's a lot of soccer.
It's a lot of soccer, but Blue Lock looks pretty cool. I don't know.
Blue Lock looks
but it's still not done.
Yeah. Next week we're watching the summit.
Hold on. Do you want to do the Nerd Down?
Nerd Down.
Nerd Down.
NerdDown.
Hey guys, welcome to NerdDown, where the nerds get down. Drew Philip, Aldo Mendez, episode 132, Between Nerds podcast. I want to go over some housekeeping notes right about here.
Captain Tsubasa.
Captain Tsubasa, like a radio host.
Hate it or love it. It's good anime. 2018.
David production.
David or Dave?
David.
Oh, David production. Great stuff.
Great stuff. At the beginning of this Nerd Down, we do want to go over that we do have a giveaway. We have a monthly giveaway. We got the winner of last month's giveaway for the January giveaway, a nice Gundam figure from the Witch from Mercury series. Okay, just throwing that out there because they commented on a YouTube video in the month of January recommending us some anime, and we watched one of them. We watched The Witch from Mercury. And Raz was the winner of last month because they commented on a video on YouTube and they're a subscriber.
And that's our invitation to all of you nerds that watch us without being subscribed. Subscribe. Tweak your privacy settings so we're able to see that you're subscribed and give us some comments. The more positive they are, the more entitled, the more inclined we are to have a conversation and bring you up in the Nerd Down.
Mm-hmm. And that's not the only way to enter. Again, if you leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Pandora or Deezer, we don't get notified about those about those ratings. But if you can screenshot or prove to us that you gave us a positive review, and then email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com, letting us know that positive review is you, then you're basically already entered into the giveaway as well.
Absolutely, and we'll get you some nerdy stuff of your liking if we're able to stalk you for a little bit.
Yeah, right. Don't tell them. What else am I missing? What else am I missing?
Well, no, nothing much. Just remember to like and subscribe on YouTube.
It's March 1st when this episode comes out. Are there any notable holidays in March that we should know about or anything like that? You're Catholic adjacent. Are you doing Lent?
No. I'm not doing Lent, but we are... cutting it down on a little bit of booze.
I feel like I never knew that dry January was a thing until I was listening to NPR last month.
Yeah.
So we're the weirdos, and we're doing a dry March.
I think whatever fits your schedule.
Since graduating college, I normally go sober for at least 30 days out of the year, right before my birthday.
Not all together though, spaced out.
No, we're doing it I'm doing it for 30 days straight. Aldo said he's doing it with me. You don't got to. But selfishly, I usually do it right before my birthday, just so I can be the fittest person in my own birthday.
Oh yeah,
selfishly, and it's because my birthday's tail end of the spring, early summer. It works out. And what else am I missing? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about comments? You want to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp? You want to talk about The Last of Us? You want to...
Well, I was just going to say also an invitation for everybody to send us your recommendations.
Oh, that's right.
Send us your recommendations. We do watch recommendations, even though we sometimes have bad weeks, but, it's there. But, yes, first week of March Madness is done with Captain Tsubasa.
The second week, so the next episode you all will be listening to is going to be The Summit of the Gods, directed by Patrick Imbert. Written by Patrick Imbert, based on The Summit of the Gods by Jiro Taniguchi. A manga. So here's the thing. I've gone on rants in said Nerd Downs before about how I'm not entirely positive that something not produced in Japan is an anime. Because anime is just the Japanese word for animation, right? But I was doing some research on The Summit of the Gods on Twitter this week, and Mr. Hideo Kojima has a rant last year talking about how excited he was about the anime film, which he admits is animated in France, called The Summit of the Gods, because he loves the manga, and voice actors from the Metal Gear series are in the movie. Are in the movie. So my thing is, you know what I mean. We have a lofty 155 subscribers on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. Not tooting our horns or nothing, but who am I to argue against Hideo Kojima?
Hey,
nobody. I'm nobody. That's what I'm saying.
And honestly, that's where I got the idea from.
You're lying. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a while back, I brought some of the gods probably last year. You know, I had seen him post Summit of the Gods, but the manga, he's like, wow, I haven't revisited this in so long. I just revisit again. It's great that Netflix is doing a movie.
Do you follow him on Instagram? Because he's funny on Instagram because he's like doing a tour of like all the famous people in the United States.
Yeah.
Like everyone just loves Kojima.
Yeah, he's Kojima.
He's
dude.
a cool dude. He's
Yeah.
a cool dude. Like he'll just be like hanging out like with famous actors and stuff and be like, hey guys, look at my friend. I don't know. It'll be like Adam Sandler or something. I was like, how the fuck does Hideo Kojima know Adam Sandler?
When the Japanese prime minister got shot,
oh yeah,
there was a confusion that he looked a little bit too much like Hideo Kojima, and there was like threads on Twitter like Hideo Kojima's gonna be exiting out of like an indie movie.
That was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be. They were saying like Hideo Kojima's gonna be stepping out of like some indie movie and be like, whoa! I didn't do that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's super funny. But yeah. It's like if Hideo Kojima likes it, I'm sure I'm gonna fucking like it.
It's ice climbing too, so it's something a little bit intense. You know, I'm sure.
It's called the Summit of the Gods. Yeah, yeah. It's about mountain climbing, like on snow and stuff.
Did you hear about that one African dude who told this girl? He asked out a girl, and I don't know what happened, but he was like, "If I were to climb Mount Everest, would you go out with me or some shit like that?" And he did as an amateur.
And she still didn't go out with him?
I can't remember if she did or not, but like I believe they did.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a whole thing, and I think they're coming out with a movie for him too.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, we're stuff with ice climbing lately.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it because I feel like ice climbing is super intense.
It is. But, like, my thing is, like, it won a bunch of indie awards as well. Like, it's animation. It's French animation. But, like, it's... Because it's based off of a manga, like, my understanding going through, like, the Hideo Kojima things and, like, a bunch of other threads of famous people is they're calling it an anime because it's kind of like how people would consider Avatar: The Last Airbender an anime because, like, it's in the style of Japanese animation. Like, it is... Like, they are so, like... proud of the source material and want to adapt it faithfully that they do it in the Japanese style.
And I think that's something to be...
That's noteworthy. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And partially why we're doing that is because like a lot of times when we watch like 26, 28 episode animes or something like that, we'll try to preface that with like a movie to give ourselves some breathing room. We're finally getting back to season 2 of Haiku,
which we love.
Mr. Christopher James will be back. And interesting news that came out. So we are recording on February 24th. Some interesting news that came out yesterday on the 23rd is that Birdie Wing Golf Girl Story is getting a season 2.
Yes.
Later this year. And we're the 4th week of March Madness. We're watching Birdie Wing.
Hell yeah. And it seems like we always have this kind of moments where it's like, oh, look, great
we
timing.
did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Great
Good for
timing.
us.
Yeah.
We're so
great.
good at planning a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Kinda.
Kind of.
But anyways, yeah, let's go into some nerd comments.
You want to do some nerd comments? Okay. Yes. None on YouTube. So, I mean, out of the plethora of comments on YouTube, we are choosing to decline because there are none of quality that we want to read. Like during the Nerd Down. Do you want to read this one? Mr. B. Bartbean commented on our most commented video actually about The Witch from Mercury.
Correct. And he says as follow, and I quote, "Hey, keep at it, guys. Maybe you'll break 200 followers this year."
And what I think is funny is that, like, it's totally some ugly, like, neckbeard looking dude, like some...
Yeah, his neckbeard is out of the shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, all right, I get it. Awesome. Good for you. You're so cool, bro.
It's hilarious because I feel like we should come up to a limit of how many responses Drew gets with our audience on the internet.
Because I'm mean?
Well, not that. It's just... like, it's funny that when... an obvious mean comment comes across, you're like, no, fuck you, nerd. It's like this and like that and this, and then when, which I'm like, I'm always like, I try to play like devil's advocate and being like, maybe he wasn't being that mean.
Yeah.
And then he gets this comment, and I'm like, I saw that comment like separate, like like away from Drew, and I was like, what an asshole. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're in February,
and my comments just like, hey, thanks.
Yeah, you're like, hey, thanks. And then
because I thought he meant it. I thought he was being nice.
Hey, maybe he did. But what I saw, I'm like, dude, we're in February. We're at 130 subscribers. Followers on TikTok. It's like he says we don't have 70 in our pocket for like the end of the year.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, nerd.
Jerk.
But thank you for the comment. And if you're willing not to be
an asshole,
yeah, comment a recommendation or something. It might not be good because your comment wasn't good. But what else we got?
So, I have the receipts for a deleted thread on the same TikTok video because for whatever reason, it's the TikTok that starts with me being like, I feel like I was being gaslit by nerds about yada 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 about the Crunchyroll reviews. It has like 30 comments and it's our most commented TikTok, and I have no idea why. But my thing is, like, a lot of nerds don't get that our titles, especially because I titled them, and like a lot of the clips that you pick are like purposely clickbaity because like they're shorts and they're TikToks, and I want you to rewatch them. I want you to comment on them and feel some type of way about it. Like, it's bait. I am baiting you. Like, it is very obviously bait. And then like half of our comments or like our like to dislike ratio will just be like, this is I'm taking this personally right now. This is too literal. You guys can't be serious right now. And I'm like, dude, it's bait. You're interacting. Thanks for taking the bait. Appreciate it.
But then there's arguments that someone could make out of this feelings that we invoke on you for being clickbaity. That, dude, your comment was kind of wild because he understands. I understand. A lot of nerds understand that if you put something with a Gundam title in front of it,
it means something.
It's just gonna mean something.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just gonna bump up numbers, just like if you were to put Between Nerds in front of like a brand that would wish to sponsor us. You know what I'm saying? But this nerd goes on to say those reviews were for Gundam fans. Gundam, not necessarily an average anime watcher.
This is Mr. Undecided Feels.
And that was very undecided feels, because with that first comment, you're saying that Gundam is for average anime watchers, which I don't think. It's a very niche. Which you then say again on the next tweet that Gundam is for a niche
audience.
Audience.
Like, it reads undecided. So I replied, the popular sci-fi series ? Exclamation point. He's saying that like Gundam isn't as popular and it's just niche watchers. And he's like, not as popular as most shonen series. Mecha anime is a niche. Yes, Gundam is the most popular mecha anime, but is watched less than like Reborn as a Slime.
There's probably like 20 in current production mecha
Dude,
anime.
You have lost your mind. Like, the Gundam series has to be one of the most profitable anime franchises ever. You are crazy. That's like, and then he quotes something that like is only been popular for the past 5 years. Reborn as a Slime, like that time I was reincarnated as a slime. Like, I think it's a good anime. Don't get me wrong. And like, I heard the light novels are really, really good. Yeah, and like, I hope you watch Reincarnated as a Slime at some point. It got a movie last year. But like,
there's not a 100-meter tall slime statue in Japan.
You've lost your mind. That's what I mean. Like, bro, like the Gundam series has made so much money, is so popular, is a cultural mainstay, and you're just pulling examples out of your ass from the past 5 years.
And Japan just recently decided to keep the statue up and standing for like until the end of the year again.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't know. So then I replied to that. Anime as a cultural institution did not start 5 years ago, crying laughing face, but maybe your interest in anime did.
Yes. And then
he commented, okay, he deleted it. This is the screenshot I had before that, but like his comment after that is like, don't patronize me. I used to watch Gundam on VHS.
Yeah, I've been watching I don't think he said Gundam, but he's like, I've been watching anime since he was on VHS. I'm like, okay, it's like you were the one patronizing your take on popular anime?
Right, so then I comment, why is the patronizer in my comment section complaining about being patronized?
And then comment deleted.
Thread gone. It's okay. I got receipts, bro. I got receipts.
Also, if you guys are willing to face the facts that you might have had a shitty take, oh, you know what? Maybe you're right. Drew.
What?
Maybe Gundam is a pillar among the anime genre, the anime medium.
Okay.
You know, and be like, you know what? That's a good take, Drew. If you would have said that, that would have been a lot better.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But yeah, we'll keep receipts if you have a shitty take, so we can talk about it.
We've got proof. Here's a good one. So Mr. Florentes at Gio_Derio on Twitter mentioned us last amongst his list of new podcast channels he found this year. So he mentioned Japanimation Pod, Giant Robo FM, and At Between Nerds as new podcasts he found this year.
For the year. Yeah.
For the year.
Thank you, Florentes. If you were to translate those tweets and those likes and those retweets into YouTube, you could also be a winner for a giveaway.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And as far as the other comments, like we said, swimming on them.
Yeah. Just too many to read in one Nerd Down.
Yes, and we can't get to all of them in one Nerd Down. But yeah, that was it for you guys' input on this podcast. I wish we had more. I wish we had more recommendations. You know.
Well, we do have a bunch since like that
Yes, we do.
that day we did post on our Instagram story. We got like 8 or so, and I guess we can talk about things we haven't talked about in a while. Like I can't remember the last time we talked about a Marvel series in a Nerd Down. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yes,
right?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Did you like it? Did you hate it as much as Rotten Tomatoes did?
No, I didn't. I went with VNA.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers. If you haven't watched it, save this video for later, and watch it when you do watch it. Mm-hmm. I went to watch it with VNA.
Okay.
I love watching movies with VNA because I'm not watching it with a pretentious nerd from the internet. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it was stupid cheesy, weird times. It was the plot line. It was not concrete whatsoever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Was it just an introduction to like a big villain? Not introduction, because we've seen him coming for like a year already.
Right. We've seen him since Loki. Yeah.
Correct. So, watching Ant-Man and the Wasp, do I feel like Paul Rudd needed that much like not Ant-Man time in the movie? No.
My thing is, I just think James Gunn leaving the MCU has left a really big mark on the MCU. Because, like, this movie feels like a James Gunn movie. It feels like
but not
Guardians of the Galaxy
but without those
Part 1.
smart twists and changes.
Right. I think what the MCU's running into is what the DCEU like has been dealing with for like a decade already. Is that like you can't replace actual comic book fans with like people that are just kind of good directors and writers.
Correct.
Because the thing about Kevin Feige and like his overreach and like over involvement in early MCU and James Gunn is that they're actual like 1970s 1980s comic book nerds. Like these guys live and breathe this. It just so happens that they also have a talent for producing and directing films.
Well, and then again, Kevin Feige's been there since X-Men, you know.
But he's less involved. They're doing too much, so Kevin Feige's like attention is like stretched, right? And like James Gunn moving to the DCEU and their reboot, like I that's what I saw in this movie, because I saw a lot of James Gunn isms. I saw a lot of character designs and bright colors, and like the set pieces looked a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. They had Paul Rudd doing like the quips and the funny little bits that I see James Gunn doing all the time. But like it's not James Gunn, so it just feels hollow. Like they're doing everything that like it's like a checklist, like, but they're not like flushing out any of that stuff, and like it was fine. Like I think it's better than what like a lot of nerds were.
Did you and Karen enjoy it?
No, we did. And like, you know, Karen not being an over-involved nerd and watching like YouTube videos on it, it's perfectly fine and entertaining movie for her, right? Yeah. Like, which is great, which I'm sure is how VNA felt about it.
Well, me and VNA right after the movie, still sitting down, every movie we watch, we're like, that was cool, you know what I'm saying? That was interesting, and we kind of like talk about it like on the way home,
right?
You know, but like the fact that we stood there and we were like, that was cool.
Yeah,
it says something, because it wasn't It's nothing that's gonna break your brain. It's
No.
nothing that it's gonna. Don't get me wrong. It puts you in this amazing universe, which is the microverse,
No,
the quantum
the quantum realm.
Yeah, the quantum realm, and
The microverse is what it's called in the comics, right?
right, something like that. Yes, but like you said, James Gunn already with 2 movies of being outside of Earth, being in the space, and being mostly green screened and stuff like that. Guardians of the Galaxy looks amazing.
And that's why Volume 3 is kind of a send-off, not only for like that cast, but it's James Gunn's last contractual obligation to the MCU
Correct.
before he officially like moves to DC like permanently. My thing is there's just like some narrative cop-outs that were just clearly like we didn't think of a real solution, so this just kind of happened kind of thing. One of them's the ants. Like, I get it. It's Ant-Man. So, like, Hank Pym, like, and his literal ant saved the day at the end of the day. But it's such a fucking cop-out. Like, I get it. Kang's supposed to be the new big bad. And, like, the threat of Kang is that not only can he cross universes, but there's an infinite number of Kangs because every Kang has mastered the multiverse. That's terrifying. Cool. I get that. This villain isn't like the Kang dynasty, it's Kang the Conqueror, the singular Kang that wanted to conquer every like every timeline, right? But like they couldn't it's like in the writing room they couldn't think of a real way to beat him, so there's just like, okay, what if in the beginning of the movie we just kind of set up that Hank Pym has created technology for his ants that let them think faster and quicker and make faster populations, and then somewhere in the middle of the movie they just kind of accidentally also entered the quantum realm, and then but like time functioned differently for them, so they lived for thousands if not tens of thousands of years and made this multi-dimensional society, and they have basically like high powered sci-fi powers in their own, and they're just going to save the day in the last 30 seconds of the movie. Like that's not who we were following the whole time. Like it would have made more sense if maybe, like, I don't even know. Like, I'm not a writer, so I don't know who I am to critique it, but it's like, wouldn't one of the actual titular, like, characters named in the title solving the issue of the villain, like, been a better narrative, like, solution to it?
Yes, and then again, we had this conversation probably 2 NerdDowns ago. Okay, so it's Kathy being introduced as the new Ant-Man for Young Avengers.
Right.
You know, and I feel like just for a quick second, if her origin story, but not really, would have expanded more than just like a bailout out of jail.
Yeah, like there's a lot, like, so she made like a radar into the quantum verse by herself at like 15 years old, and I'm just supposed to believe that? I get it, comic book stuff, like, I don't know, just people are just good at sci-fi bullshit because of comic books, but like, that's, again, that kind of doesn't make any sense.
Like, for me, I'm not a writer either, but like, it would have been a lot better if she would have like pushed her family away, gotten caught in the verse then, and then Ant-Man finding out that she was like, where the fuck is Kathy? Oh, there's this fucking quantum, not like a whole family dynamic where it's like, oh, you fucked up and you went to jail and you're gonna end up just like your dad, but your dad saved the universe and shit
multiple times,
so like that's not even a bad thing.
Yeah,
and like,
and he's an engineer.
Yeah, and then it would have been a lot better for the story of like her being like her pushing her family away, and then Scott trying to rebond with her.
And it's like not even an Ant-Man movie because like none of the funny characters from the first 2 Ant-Man are even in it. Like it's just kind of like they should have just
Ant-Man adjacent.
Yeah, they should have just called it like Quantumania Introduction to Kang or something.
Yeah.
Like that's clearly what they wanted to do. Like it could have been anybody. Ant-Man didn't even have, honestly, and I wanted him to die. Because
we
like
talked about this too. I thought he was gonna die too.
I thought he was, because like going into it, like it was clear even from the trailers that there was gonna be no narrative weight to the movie outside of introducing Kang the Conqueror, not just He Who Remains, like they did in Loki, but like the actual like new big bad villain, the new Thanos, right? So I was like, how do you make that significant? Somebody has to die, right? And it's an Ant-Man movie. And then, like, everyone just lives happily ever after until the next fucking movie comes out, which is The Marvels. So I was like, it's cool, dumb fun, a lot of green screen work, like, high quality, like, animation everywhere, character design's fluid, and, like, the suits are fine, but, like...
And then they bait you at the end of the movie with, like...
Like, he was gonna get trapped in the
Correct, because there's a part where Kang has the ultimate machine to get him out ready. He's flying out, and like the whole trailer scene of like, I don't have to beat you. We just both have to lose. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? That's me thinking, oh shit, either he's gonna die, they're both gonna die, and then but the movie baits you into like, okay, the portal opens for the entire family. Everybody gets out. Kathy, grandparents, and the Wasp. By the way, you could have left the Wasp's name out of the movie.
Yeah, she's like barely in it. She has like a dozen like lines of dialogue, and that's like it.
And then him to get stuck there. There's a story about the Atom in the DCU, where the Atom in like after Batman's been like retired forever, like nobody has seen the Flash, nobody has seen the Atom. There's a storyline about the Atom where he's trapped in a petri dish, but he doesn't know where he is. You know, so he fights bacteria monsters, and he's just been in a lab in a petri dish, like stuck for like 20 years.
Yeah,
you know. And so like when I started seeing like when I saw that the portal closed, and I'm like, that's Ant-Man. Leave him there.
Yeah.
We don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I want to think is like, where the fuck Ant-Man goes? Like, nobody has seen him ever.
Like,
you know
when the King Dynasty movie comes out and he just, like, pops out of the quantum verse, you'd be like, oh, shit! Like, how cool would that have been? Be like, oh, shit, Ant-Man's here.
He can be all raggedy. He's like, bro, I've been fighting fucking crazy shit in the quantum realm. I've been trying to fix everything.
Right. That would have been cool.
That would have been fucking cool, dude.
Right. Yeah. But instead, like, he just gets out and lives happily ever after. I hated that.
There's like, a part of the story of the Atom where it's like his inner dialogue, but it's also like his like diary, because he's trying to think like day by day. And like he's like, it's dark, it's always cold, like there's no sunlight, there's only like waves, and like there's no islands, there's only this little island, but there's monsters in the ocean, but he doesn't know where he's at, but he's just in a petri dish. And like in the panels, like it like zooms out and it shows you where he's at, like in this little fridge in this forgotten lab
in a petri dish.
Yeah. And it's just like eerie. It's just hunting.
Hey, I got a C in micro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, but like the monsters look so cool too, like in panels and stuff. And like, I would have loved that ending for Ant-Man. You know?
Yeah.
For him to be stuck without pin particles.
I hated that it's an actual movie with like a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
Because the only thing like I feel like I was geeking about leaving the theater were the after credit scenes, and like that's how you know like it sucked, because like that's how I felt after the Eternals too. Like I didn't give a shit about the movie, but like the after credit scenes, I was like, oh my fucking god. And like the after credit scenes in Quantumania are amazing. Number one, like they direct live action shot for shot, like the introduction to the Council of Kings, like the King Dynasty, in like the actual comic book page of like the stadium full of kings. That's crazy. Like I've seen that page, like I don't read comics, you know that, but I've seen that page like dozens if not hundreds of times, and I never thought I'd see that live action.
So I was telling you that like mostly the Kang stories are usually tied with the Fantastic Four, because the Fantastic Four are the family that goes in all dimensions to investigate shit. You know what I'm saying? It's CSI Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't actually know that.
So the story with Kang and that Kang of the Conqueror, when they do defeat him, the main Kang,
he's totally not dead, right?
Yeah, so the main Kang gets
he's trapped inside of his car battery.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is that that Kang that gets exiled, and once the Fantastic Four beat him, he gets sent to like 1901 or some shit like that, where we see Loki. Oh yeah, in like a super old timey production of like his science presentation or something.
Right,
like that.
like he's Nikola Tesla.
So I think that's the prime Kang.
That's King the Conqueror.
Yeah, he got sent out over there, and he's trying to rebuild his like technology.
Do you think He Who Remains and King the Conqueror are the same variant? No, you don't. No. You think they're different?
Yeah.
But like King the Conqueror is the variant of Kang that is trying to conquer the multiverse, right? Correct. Is that not He Who Remains?
No, He Who Remains was just trying to keep a balance it was trying to keep everybody out.
But is that not what Kang the Conqueror said?
Yes, but like he was the with the MCU story, because this is not really in the comics, but like within the MCU, like he says a lot of times, if you kill me, it's like shit's gonna go bad. Yeah. And every Kang's been saying that for the past 2 Kangs.
Yeah.
Like if you kill me, shit's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
So he is, I guess, the greater good, or like the great, the what is it? The
lesser
evil?
of
The lesser of
the lesser evil. Yeah.
You know, because he's actually like letting people live that timeline that he can contain, so this fuckers don't come out.
Right.
Yeah, but like girl Loki or Sylvie, she was like, "Nah, fuck that. We want free will." Bah, 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 stab.
But like it was never her free will, because he always knew that was going to happen.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get, which I'm excited for Loki too. So like the MCU projects for this year is totally toned down from the last couple of years.
And Kevin Feige gave an interview saying like, you know what, we went all out on fucking shows. That was our bad.
Did he apologize? No,
he didn't apologize, but he said, he was like, we have made a decision to give the opportunity to every show that we're going to put out, the opportunity to shine. We're not going to just like...
They're not going to be doing like 5 in a year, like in 2021 or something. Yeah. My thing is, the Young Avengers movie better fucking hit for how much investment they've like been shoving down our throats for the Young Avengers. And I haven't even hated all of them. I didn't hate the Hawkeye show. I liked the Hawkeye show. I thought it had really good hand-to-hand combat. The Miss Marvel show, the character isn't bad. The show's just like directed poorly and it's storyboarded wrong. And same thing with like new Mini Wasp or whatever the fuck. Like she's Ant-Man's daughter.
Oh, and I don't know what she's gonna be.
Yeah, whatever. Like they've put so much investment into the Young Avengers, because isn't even Iron Lad a variant of Kang? Mm-hmm. Right. So like they've set up the Young Avengers so much. If it doesn't hit, if it's not an absolute banger, they have fucked up 7 years worth of MCU productions.
Yeah. And did you hear that the guy from The Walking Dead, that Asian dude, Ben or whatever his name was? You remember the Asian dude from The Walking Dead?
I do. I don't remember the actor at all.
He's the voice actor for Invincible.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, he is gonna be joining the Thunderbolts, also with Harrison Ford as.
I did see that. I did see that. I saw somebody comparing that. What's his name that plays Forrest Gump?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks and Harrison Ford, they're in their twilight years of their career, kind of, you know what I mean, before they enter hospice care, officially. Mm-hmm. So this is why they're dabbling in popular
CGI
movie popular movie franchises. You know what I mean? They're at the point where they're just dude, I don't care anymore. Harrison Ford 15, 20 years ago was giving interviews being like, dude, fuck those comic book movies, fuck that nerd shit, fuck green screens, I'm not doing that. But now they're kind of I guess, I don't care anymore.
It was funny because I was just watching this TikTok about it's oh, nerd culture is not that toxic, and then no, the Star Wars nerd culture is not that toxic.
Oh, Jesus!
And then they go back all the way to George Lucas. They bullied George Lucas out of stop making sci-fi movies.
Yeah,
they bullied Leia. They bullied Harrison Ford. They bullied Daisy Ryder. They bullied John Boyega.
Daisy Ridley, John Boyega. The Asian girl that appeared in episode 8. Yeah. Dude, that one was mean. Dude, that one made me want to stop being a Star Wars fan, because I thought she was perfectly fine. And everyone's just I'm tired of how woke fucking Star Wars is. There's non-white characters in my multi-dimensional multi-galaxy universe story. Crazy. And it upset them. I was of somewhat of mixed culture, I'm never gonna be represented fully in a movie ever. Yeah. And I understand that, you know what I mean. My dad's mixed, my dad's white and Pacific Islander, my mom's Hispanic. I'm never gonna have full representation in film, and I get that. So I don't understand how there's people in the world that see popular media and are really if everyone doesn't look just like me and how movies were in the 80s, then I'm pissed. Then I'm super pissed, and it makes me so upset. You
know what I learned the other day?
What?
Of why the original trilogy is different from the not the remakes, but
because George Lucas's ex-wife.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
That
like
was
the
wild.
reason why they rebooted and did like the CGI like re-release and you can't
rewrites
and you can't find the original like Star Wars trilogy anywhere like on DVD or even VHS probably is because George Lucas's ex-wife divorced him, but she was like a co-producer / 50% owner of Lucas Productions at the time.
Like most of the movie.
Yeah. So she took the rights to that film with her. So George Lucas, trying to just be the salty ex-husband and cut her off from like
royalties and
royalties and stuff, he re-released those movies with that shitty 90s CGI.
Yeah, wild.
George Lucas, shitty ex-husband, man. He's like Dan Harmon with it.
Wild. Oh, Dan Harmon, dude. Oh no, not Dan Harmon. Justin Roiland, dude. Just
creep.
God, what
Super
a fucking
creep.
mess.
I can't believe there's people defending him. Like we have the receipts, dude. Like what are we debating right now? Like we see what Justin Roiland said, and there's really people being like, "Oh, cancel culture's gone too far." Blah 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 blah.
Fuck you.
What are you talking about?
Fuck you, man.
He's a pedophile. He's literally.
But in another non MCU between nerds news, Last of Us.
The Last of Us, show of the year, exactly. Communism's not as bad as everyone thought, apparently.
No.
People support.
You might be surprised when you find yourself living in a commune.
Yeah, in a commune. Yeah, we share everything. We share livestock, and we share housing, and we share goods.
But it's in exchange with other work, you know. Like
Yeah, so it's not communism at all. That's not communism. We're a commune. We're communists.
That's what this is. That's the only way it could work in that.
Did you finish the Last of Us game, the first one?
Yes.
You know that I never had. I've only played like the first hour and a half, and like I was watching a YouTube video of this guy that never spoils, not really, and like he just started talking about the game. He's just like, okay, Joel gets stabbed, blah 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 blah. Well, we know he's gonna come back next episode. It's just gonna take a little while. I was like, oh motherfucker, because me and Karen even watched like the after episode preview and like the director discussion, and Joel's not in it, and I was like, did he just die for real?
It's because I think Joe gets the Goku thing too on the game. He gets the heart thing.
Oh,
yeah, and I think Ellie's trying to help him. Like I think he goes into maybe like a semi-coma or something like that, but he can't really move. But like I think he does get hurt, but then again, like the heart thing gets.
Well, he got stabbed in the gut pretty good. Yeah. He did get stabbed pretty good. And I don't know. So there's only 4 more episodes of The Last of Us. Mandalorian season 3 starts next week.
Hell yeah!
It starts the date this episode comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It starts March 1st, right? So then that's neat. Super excited about the Pascal verse. You know what I mean? We're just gonna be living in the Pascal verse till the end of time.
I'm with it.
I'm with it. Mr. Pedro is like everyone's favorite actor right now. I've never seen a Hispanic actor get this much praise.
Hey, it's
except for the 90s Hispanic actresses that were popping.
I'm sorry.
Like I've never
Salma Hayek and all them.
Yeah. You get what I mean? Like when J-Lo was acting.
Yeah. J-Lo
she wasn't good, but like she was popular.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen this much representation.
Have you seen how sad Ben Affleck looks?
Yeah. Remember when we were watching the Super Bowl and was it a McDonald's or a Burger King commercial?
I think so.
He's just in the drive-thru and I was just like, that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
But he's coming out with a new movie, isn't he?
I think so.
He is. And God, I don't even know what else. What other nerd stuff? Hogwarts Legacy's cool.
Yeah, you've been playing it.
I've been playing it.
You already opened up the world?
I don't support anything that the author of the Harry Potter series has done or said. You know what I saw? I saw the other day she did an interview where people were like, how are you hating on trans people, but you made a book about an outsider overcoming like prejudice, and she's just like, well, that's a book. It's not real life, all right? And I was like, yo. Yeah, you made 7 books about this. Your life's work.
She was living in poverty.
Yeah, she wrote the first book on a train because she was homeless and didn't have anywhere to write the damn thing. And now she's just a bigot.
People were probably like, ugh.
Yeah, ugh, stinky girl just writing a book on a public train. What the fuck?
Pretty real.
Yeah, and now she's just out here just being a bigot. Just a billionaire and a bigot.
Did you see how much shit Roseanne got for her special?
No, what'd she say?
Oh, it's same shit, dude. Same shit she's been talking about, dude. She talks shit. Apparently, I didn't watch it for like 20 minutes about both her daughters. because the daughters is like, my daughters are not here because they're woke, dumbass.
Oh, shut the fuck up, dude.
Millennials that never worked a day in her life, and that's why they're not here. And blah, 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 blah. Boomer stuff, boomer old lady stuff.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, no wonder. Like, yeah, I mean, it's been a conversation a lot in TikTok, at least for me, that you see all these TikToks like, I can't believe my kids don't talk to me. It's like, you really can't believe your
you
kids
can't believe it.
like,
Did you know that Bella Ramsey, the actress in The Last of Us, has preferred pronouns?
Oh, really?
She goes by they them. I said she. They go by they them.
They go by them.
They go by they. And like Pedro Pascal was the one that had encouraged her to go public, and she gets taped when she does shoots.
Okay.
And she thought it was weird and made her uncomfortable. Mr. Pascal encouraged her to do so because Pedro Pascal's sister is openly trans.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? That's something.
I didn't know.
Isn't it? So, like, bringing previous conversation to the current conversation, isn't that cool? I thought that was really... Because, like, Bella Ramsey, like, we talked about it. I saw her in Game of Thrones. I saw them in Game of Thrones.
And see, it's this fucking thing, dude. You're not being made to call anybody anything that is not in your life. If again, if you meet a person outside of your circle, outside of people that you care about, and they tell you, hey, sorry, my pronouns are her, he, they, them, or whatever, like, you really, it only comes from the kindness of your heart to call them that.
Right.
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
I don't want to be a fucking dickhead to a stranger.
Exactly. But, like, you guys are the ones worried about it. All these fucking people that are, like, Ben Shapiro and, like, all these fucking people, they're the ones that care.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If I met somebody outside of my circle that told me that, just to be polite, I will use those just that one time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm probably never going to see him ever in my life. Mm-hmm. But it's just leave people alone, dog. Like, it's got nothing to do with your book, with your little Bible book, and it has nothing to do with all this shit. I don't know. It's just weird for people to care that much about something that is, like, so minuscule.
Yeah,
But it is only minuscule when you don't care about it, but, like, for the other person, it means a lot to.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't know, something, like, I guess we wouldn't understand is, like, that sense of identity. You know what I mean? Bella Ramsey's probably had feminine pronouns her entire life, and they're a young adult. Like, it took forever and Bella Ramsey's been in the public spotlight for, like, their entire life. And they've never been able to open up like that and feel entirely comfortable. But, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't take away her acting potential. That doesn't take away, like, them playing Ellie the way that they do. Like, the scene last episode, that's a scene-for-scene shot from the game of Bella Ramsey's character and Pedro Pascal's character yelling at each other about, like, you're trying to leave me. Everyone I've ever met either is dead or has left me. And he's just like, you don't know anything about loss. And she's just like, dude, you don't know what I know, kind of stuff. Yeah. That's a beautiful scene. Yeah. Beautiful. Like, even in the after episode interview with the director, he was just like, dude, like, it's like the best directorial scene in the entire game. I can't not animate it like, I can't not direct it like that, like, shot for shot. Which is what they did. It's a very faithful adaptation from what I saw, because I saw the game, like,
screenplay.
Yeah, screenplay of it, like, on YouTube.
Another thing, I can't exactly remember what project Pedro Pascal got approached with. I don't know if it was MCU or DCU.
He was in Wonder Woman.
They were talking to him about a character that takes care of a kid as well, and he was like, I'm in it. Because he's daddy. You know what I'm saying? He's daddy of the internet. So,
does he have kids?
Huh?
Does he have kids?
I don't know.
No? I don't know either. That's super... But yeah, that's funny. That's, like, the meme about Pedro Pascal right now. Because, like, all of his characters, he's just, like, fatherly.
Yeah.
Including the Mandalorian. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, that one, I'm super excited for the Mandalorian show, because we're actually going to have a bunch of different kinds of Mandalorians on screen at one time. We're finally going to go to the planet of Mandalore. And, like, he's probably going to get an even better upgrade. So, like, he's got the Darksaber. It, like...
Now he has a little Jedi baby.
Right. In something, like... I saw a Twitter thread the other day. It was like, what singular scene from the Clone Wars show would you want in live action? And did you watch the Clone Wars show?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the scene where Darth Maul comes back? He's got robot legs.
Oh yeah.
And he recruits his brother, and they take over the Mandalorian planet.
Yeah.
But then Darth Sidious comes through with double red lightsabers and just murks both of them easily.
Yeah.
That is my favorite scene in the entire Star Wars franchise. Period. To see that in live action, I would scream. I would lose my mind. Because, when we see Sidious in the prequels, he's super old and fragile, and then he turns into the Emperor, and it's just okay, that's what he looked like in the original trilogy. I get it. But, we don't see Darth Sidious
being Darth Sidious.
the anti-hero to Jedis. And it's not until you see him just spinning with double lightsabers and defeating his apprentice, another Darth. He defeats Darth Maul and his trained brother easily in 30 seconds. It's a 30-second scene. It's my favorite scene in all of Star Wars.
No, yeah. I really love the what is their race called? Darth Maul and his brother.
Oh, I should know this because I played Jedi Fallen Order. Because you go to that planet in Jedi Fallen Order.
But their entire race, it's it's a deterrent to the Force. Just them being alive, it's evil incarnate almost. Dathomir. And I would really love to see Darth again. I own a couple of Darth Maul comic books from 2010, 2008.
That's something else nerds were fucking pissed about this week because the Jedi Fallen Order game has a book series that goes along with it. Everything in Star Wars since the fucking 70s, they've been producing books that go along with the games, the movies, everything, right? There's a character in Jedi Fallen Order. Remember in Clone Wars, the females are witches, right? So you befriend one of the witches, and she becomes part of the crew.
The yellow ones, right? Is she yellow?
She's not yellow. She's kind of like a palish blue. I want to say something
right,
like that.
Right.
But in the book that came out last week or the week before, something like that, it turns out that she's not actually she, and again has kind of a non-binary pronouns and is kind of sexually fluid as well. And then again, nerds are just fucking pissed. Nerds are fucking pissed.
Will never not be nerds.
There were some tasteful replies in the comments that made sense to me. It's just okay, I don't care if she's non-binary, but she's still totally gonna hook up with Cal, and I'm yeah, absolutely. That doesn't change anything about I think that's my ship right there. Dude, but just nerds suck. Just nerds suck. And that's the argument I've talked about in NerdDowns before. The Tucker Carlson argument. Why is everything woke now? Why is everything woke? Because being bigoted and closed-minded doesn't make any fucking money. It's funny that we're so far into late stage capitalism that inclusion makes a franchise money. Yeah. Because not everything is just 1950s Leave It to Beaver style characters. It's not how the real world is. And people are open and progressive enough now that they want to be represented and spend money on franchises that they see themselves in.
And you don't even have to look at it like that, dog. It's
yeah,
it's how
you're not fucking them. What the fuck?
It's how society works. Yeah. You're not fucking them. Do you want to fuck them? Then tell them.
They don't want to fuck you anyways,
exactly.
weirdo.
Yeah, nobody wants to fuck them. But anyways, anything else for the Nerd Down?
No. I think that was a very fluid Nerd Down.
Absolutely.
We that was a seamless transition from Ant-Man to a non-binary character in Jedi Fallen Order.
Absolutely. But more Last of Us, more Mandalorian.
Watch out for watch along with us to watch the Summit of the Gods.
Yes, Summit of the Gods, easy movie, little highbrow. If you guys. Alex, I'm pretty sure he
Alex
would
Martinez,
like that movie.
Oh, he doesn't like when I use his government name.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. It's just a joke we have amongst each other. But so then the week after that, watch Haiku with us, watch Birdie Wing. You know what I mean? And again, what Aldo's been harping on this entire Nerd Down, give us your recommendations. Whatever you guys want us to watch, we're down.
Hell yeah.
Because April's kind of wide open as of now.
Yes. And we'll make fun of it, we'll talk good about it or bad about it. All be up to you if you don't give us your
Please
recommendation.
pick something good, please.
Yes.
Because we will watch it, even though it's something bad. Just please pick something good. I'm begging you. Anyways, my name's Drew Philip Leas. That's Aldo Mendez. This is episode 132. I almost said 182. 132. Captain Tsubasa 2018. David Production. It's pretty good.
Soccer.
Pretty good. Soccer's cool.
Okay.
This has been Between
Nerds.
Thanks for watching Between Nerds Podcast. Somewhere on the screen is a link to our most recent episode. Somewhere else on the screen is a link to a body of clips that you all should watch. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.